This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
I'm Devin Feely in for Juliette tonight. As we approach the 4th of July, you may be hearing them in your neighborhood. Illegal fireworks, they have been a big problem in the past in San Jose. The city says that last 4th of July alone, they responded to 35 fires caused by fireworks. Now, this year, authorities are already trying to get the word out. All fireworks are illegal in the city of San Jose, and anyone caught setting them off could face steep fines. And as Lynn Ramirez shows us, they'll be relying on a brand new tool to catch people.
From rockets lighting up the sky to deafening explosions shaking the ground, this is what the 4th of July looks and sounds like in parts of San Jose. And not an official fireworks show, but right in neighborhood streets.
People joke about saying it's Baghdad by the Bay. It's awful, you know, it's dangerous, it's illegal.
Jeff Levine has lived in San Jose for over 2 decades and says the illegal fireworks problem has gotten worse.
Cars tossing fire, anything from the little firecrackers to the big explosive M1000s out in the street, and they zoom off and then they blow up and cars are coming in and swerving to avoid the explosions.
But this year, the city is launching a more coordinated ground and aerial effort. For the first time this 4th of July, San Jose police will launch drones to capture footage of illegal fireworks use, joining several other cities like Elk Grove, which shot this footage. The built-in GPS will allow the city to locate hotspots and go after associated property owners.
The information being gathered by the drones will be real time, and so it'll be relayed to the operator. That is a good message that we want to let people know is, again, have fun on 4th of July, be safe, but also we're watching. Fireworks are illegal in the city of San Jose and has always been.
And the city's largest neighborhood group is supporting and participating in the stepped-up enforcement.
We, as a neighborhood organization across the city, along with the city, want more people involved in reporting where fireworks are launched.
Steve Spivak is part of San Jose's all-district leadership group, which is working to encourage neighbors to report illegal fireworks using the 311 app, which now has a dedicated tab just for that purpose. And this year, code enforcement officers will be issuing citations directly to homes connected to illegal fireworks use. Spivak says the Los Angeles fires prompted San Jose to strengthen enforcement actions.
Fences, walls, landscaping, you name it, are all vulnerable to fire that can be started by embers created by the rocket launches.
And you have the potential for some awful results because people are using these illegal fireworks.
Levine is bracing for another 4th of July, but as the holiday approaches, he hopes that with stronger community involvement and a few more eyes on the skies, this holiday will be a little quieter and a lot safer. But if it's not, San Jose is also planning to use its social host ordinance, plus fines and even possible citations for spectators.
Anyone who's caught setting off fireworks could face fines starting at $1,000. The city has been trying to steer people towards city-sanctioned fireworks shows, but there's going to be fewer options this year. The fireworks show at Almaden Lake Park in South San Jose has been canceled for safety reasons. City leaders say that too many people showed up last year and they clogged the roads. The festivities will return to Lake Cunningham. The San Jose Giants will also host a fireworks show after their 4th of July game. The FBI announced a $10,000 reward today in the case of a 21-year-old Oakland woman who disappeared 5 months ago. Investigators believe that Heaven McGee is a victim of human trafficking. Her mother last saw her on January 17th on Thermal Street in Oakland, but police say that she was spotted a few days later in Stockton. Authorities say that they've used cell phone data and carried out multiple searches in the Stockton area, but they haven't been able to find her just yet. Heaven's mom talked about her daughter at a news conference earlier today.
Heaven was a genuine person who would never leave her family. I will never stop searching for my baby until I know exactly where my daughter is.
Investigators say even the smallest detail about this case could help. And anyone with information is asked to contact the Oakland Police Department's Missing Persons Unit at the number at the bottom of your screen. The Trump administration has given California a brand new ultimatum. The Department of Education says the state is in violation of civil rights laws because it allows transgender athletes to compete on girls' sports teams. The federal government is giving California 10 days to ban transgender athletes in women's sports and strip them of their awards. Billions of dollars in federal education funding could ultimately be in jeopardy if the state doesn't comply with the Trump administration's demands. This battle picked up steam after a transgender track and field player competed and won medals in the state championship.
I know the positive and wonderful things sports has given me for my entire life, all the way through my transition and into my transition, and I don't want to see kids get cheated out of that.
No one's being banned from sports. Our message is clear. Males have to compete in the male category. Females have to compete in the female category. Everyone has the opportunity to compete and to try out for the teams and sports of their choice. It just has to align with your sex.
The California Interscholastic Federation did try to find some middle ground when it changed its rules to allow cisgender athletes to share the podium if they would have lost a medal to a transgender athlete. Meanwhile, Governor Newsom says the state is not budging on its position. A bookstore in San Francisco is making a bold move to stand up for transgender rights. It's pulling the wildly popular Harry Potter series from its shelves over author JK Rowling's attacks on the trans community. The Booksmith on Haight Street posted the announcement on its website and came up with a list of other books in that same genre. It is all in response to the author's recently announced Women's Fund, which offers legal support for those forced to comply with inclusive policies in the workplace. All of this comes ahead of a big weekend for the LGBTQ community. San Francisco's Pride Parade is this Sunday, but as Kara St. Cyr shows us, this long-running event is facing some tough times as sponsors pull out.
This was a DJ that was having fun on the main stage. I love his jacket and the big crowd.
Jose Perez's phone is a treasure trove of memories, reflecting 42 years of Pride parades.
That's me working the main stage.
As a longtime participant and volunteer, the event has always been deeply important to Perez and others within his community.
I noticed that a lot of young people were coming to Pride, and the look that you see in their face, when they come out and they can express themselves with just being themselves, being able to hug each other and wear whatever they want and be themselves and be with the tribe, be with people that are like them.
But the future of the event he loves is uncertain. Organizers say ticket sales are lower than normal, and notable sponsors like Comcast, Anheuser-Busch, and beverage giant Diageo pulled out of this year's event, leaving the organization in a deficit.
Now I'm about $175,000 short.
A deficit Suzanne Ford, the executive director of San Francisco Pride, is desperately trying to fill.
How many people show up at the event? How many people donate? We still have tickets to sell at sfpride.org for the grandstands, for the parades and City Hall party and the Pride Pass. And so, if people were to stay home, it could cripple us.
Ford says operating costs for the event total about $3 million. The bulk of its funding comes from corporate sponsorships, some of which have slowly rolled back their support. Without that money, Ford says programming for next year's parade might be altered.
I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. If we gave up when it looked like things might be in jeopardy, then we would never have got through 2022.
As for Perez, seeing sponsorships disappear hurts.
Those brands that abandoned us this year, that turned their back on us, and we don't need you when we're having a good time. We need you when we really need you, like now that we are in danger.
But he remains optimistic.
We're a beacon of hope.
Anything could happen.
And be sure to watch our Pride special on Sunday on PIX Plus. We will highlight members of the LGBTQ community making a difference here in the Bay Area. It all starts at 10 a.m. on PIX Plus. That is the same day as the San Francisco Pride Parade. And ICE making arrests outside of a jail in Santa Clara County. Advocates are accusing authorities of breaking sanctuary policies. But up next, why the sheriff's office says what they're doing is legal. And tense moments in the air as a passenger jet seen with flames sparking from the engine on a pilot handled that scary situation.
After a cool cool Tuesday, temperatures return to normal on this Wednesday. Got to get my days straight. Still about a half dozen degrees below average in San Jose, but plenty of 80s in the map, and we'll add some 90s tomorrow. Details coming up in the First Alert forecast.
The Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office is responding to concerns about a recent ICE arrest outside of a local jail. It happened at the Elmwood Correctional Facility that's located in the city of Milpitas. And as Lauren Toms reports, some immigration advocates are questioning whether the Sheriff's Office violated its own sanctuary policy.
Raj Jaidev says he was shocked to learn that ICE arrested an undocumented immigrant just seconds after he was released from the Elmwood Correctional Facility in Milpitas. As the coordinator for Silicon Valley advocacy group Debug, he was alerted after the man's wife watched as agents detained her husband outside the facility.
It was a wife who was going to pick up her husband from a release from the jail, and had first-hand accounts of ICE going in the jail, communicating with sheriff staff communicating back, and then essentially escorting the person to ICE detention.
The arrest was one of 4 in the last 3 weeks at the Elmwood Correctional Facility. Raj says the sheriff's deputy's participation in the arrest violates the county's sanctuary city policies that prohibit local authorities from aiding with civil immigration enforcement.
For us, it meant essentially that there are no protections locally, that the dam is broken, or that the level of ICE enforcement has reached such a peak where they're respecting no laws, they're respecting no local policies, and every place in the county is now potentially vulnerable for ICE aggression.
The group argues that ICE agents were given information by the sheriff's department regarding the release date for the immigrant. But Santa Clara County Sheriff Robert Johnson says his department never contacted ICE, but instead, when asked, his agency confirmed publicly available information.
We're abiding by all the state laws and the county policies, and we're doing so in a very diligent way, but we're also honoring people's right to know information that's publicly available without impeding or interfering with what they have to do. And again, that's ICE's role and responsibility, is they have specific individuals they're looking for, and as long as they respect our state law and our policy, we're not going to get in their way to doing their job.
He says the department is following its policies regardless of a person's immigration status or who's waiting to pick them up, though he does recognize the heightened tensions.
Anxiety, I think, is definitely present, without question. I think, again, what we're seeing on a national level is obviously in the back of their minds of, having people come up, ask questions. But again, so far, all these interactions have been extremely professional, extremely respectful. They're not asking or inquiring any information that you wouldn't be allowed access to.
But for Raj, he says the responsibility lies on the county to provide more protections for immigrants at risk of arrest, even seconds after their release from local jail.
We need to create new barriers to ensure that our community is protected by the county agencies that are saying that they want to treat people fairly and equally, regardless of their status.
A spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office clarified that ICE agents, like any members of the public, are legally allowed to be in public areas of its facilities without notice. The latest results in San Jose's special election for City Council District 3 seat are in. They show Anthony Tordillo still maintaining a large lead. The city's Planning Commission chair holds a 64% to 35% lead over nonprofit executive Gabby Chavez Lopez. The winner will replace Omar Torres, who resigned and then pled guilty no contest to child sex crimes.
Temperatures return to closer to average across the Bay Area today. Now we're in for a little bit more of a warm up as we finish the work week, at least away from the water. One of those places, the Santa Clara Valley. Looking down at San Jose, clear skies this evening. We are going to be seeing that coastal fog and mist drizzle starting to spread back out already, and that'll thicken up as we head through tonight, but it's not going to be as widespread or as far inland by early tomorrow morning. So that modest warming trend is going to continue. Temperatures are going to peak Friday and Saturday for inland parts of the Bay Area, a few degrees above average, but no record heat in store for us, no extreme heat in store for us. And then we're kind of back to just normally warm temperatures as we finish the month of June and head into early July. Switching perspectives, this is the view from the Mark Hopkins Hotel, and there is the fog already spreading out. Temperature downtown is only 55 degrees, and it's just a few degrees warmer than that across the Bay in Oakland. Mid-60s in San Jose, upper 60s in Livermore, and still low to mid-70s in Santa Rosa and Concord. You were some of the warm spots earlier today, and you're still holding on to some of that warmth right now. Let's take a look at the floor map and simulate the fog as we head through the rest of tonight. It is going to spread out, but again, it's not going to be as widespread, not as much of a push into those inland valleys by early tomorrow morning. And as the sun comes up tomorrow, that fog is quickly going to retreat to the coast. You may even see a little bit of sunshine glimmering through those clouds along the coast, but I think you're going to have to wait until Friday for any significant amount of sun for coastal parts of the Bay Area. And that's reflected in the temperature pattern for tomorrow. Inland, temperatures are going to warm up. Let's start in the North Bay, where temperatures are going to climb up to mostly the 80s. A couple spots stuck in the 70s, but we're talking about temperatures reaching all the way up into the low 90s around Healdsburg. Around the Bay, well, upper 60s in San Francisco. That'll be one of the warmest days so far this month, but mostly 70s, from 70 in Oakland to 75 down to Peninsula and Redwood City. Right around 60 degrees at the coast, but the farther inland you go, the warmer it gets, up to around 90 degrees near Antioch and Brentwood. Mostly 80s east of the Oakland Hills and the Santa Clara Valley. Temperatures topping out in the upper 70s in San Jose, but low to mid 80s for Los Gatos and Morgan Hill. And the temperatures are going to climb further as we head into the end of the work week on Friday. Let's take a look at the hour-by-hour wind gusts, or every 6-hour wind gusts, as we go through the next couple of days. And the slightly stronger onshore breeze is going to be tomorrow. The winds do back down on Friday, which is part of why our temperatures are going to warm up. It's also just the increasing weight of the atmosphere on top of us. So the temperatures peak Friday into Saturday. It's still going to be kind of toasty inland on Sunday. Livermore's temperatures jump over 10 degrees from Thursday to Friday, hovering in the low to mid 90s through the weekend, but then backing down to near average levels for the last day of June on Monday and the first couple days of July. But then the trend is for slightly below average temperatures to settle in for the 4th of July. That is a week from Friday. We'll keep you updated on that as we head through the next several days. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, and we're going to start with inland temperatures that are going to warm up to the low to mid 90s for a couple of days, Friday and Saturday, and then retreating back down into the 80s as we head towards the middle of next week. It's not going to be a dramatic trend, but it is going to be just a bit of a mini roller coaster ride, which again, the coolest temperatures likely beyond the scope of the 7-day forecast. Bayside temperatures are going to be warming up as well into, here we go, the 70s for a couple of days, a little farther into the 70s for retreating to near average temperatures, right around 70 degrees by Monday and Tuesday, with the back and forth fog pattern back in place as well. Devin?
All right, thank you, Paul. Coming up after the break, a scary sight of planes shooting flames in the sky. More on these tense moments coming up. Yeah, some scary moments for passengers on board an American Airlines flight out of Las Vegas this morning as smoke and what appears to be flames shoot out of the back of one of the plane's engines. You heard that popping sound there. That could be heard from the ground. The plane immediately turned around and landed safely. The FAA is investigating what caused the engine issues. The Northern California Special Olympics is right around the corner, and to get into the spirit of the games, the torch made its way through San Francisco today. San Francisco police and sheriff's deputies ran through the city streets carrying the Special Olympics torch. The 2-mile run started at Aquatic Park near Fisherman's Wharf and ended at Union Square. The run raises funds for the Special Olympics, and the torch final destination is the city of Santa Clara. The tallest U.S. Coast Guard ship is now docked in the Bay Area. How you can tour it for free coming up. For the first time since 2008, the U.S. Coast Guard's tallest ship is docked in San Francisco. It's called the Bark Eagle. It's 290 feet long with 3 masts that have over 22,000 square feet of sail, 6 miles of rigging. Ship's captain says the Eagle is used as a training ground for future Coast Guard officers to learn what it's like to be cold and wet and tired out at sea.
They learn the basics of seamanship and navigation. They learn to overcome their fears and climb 147 feet in the air. And that's all to help prepare them to be future Coast Guard officers.
The Eagle is docked at Pier 17 near the Exploratorium, and tours are free of charge this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. The news continues at 9:30 after the Valkyries game. PIX Plus or 44 Cable 12. We'll see you back here at 11.